Alright, in this video we will be completing 2 pages of notes. Page 43 will be circle theorem number 1, and page 44 will be circle theorem number 2. So go ahead and turn to page 43 and title this page Circle Theorem number 1. And I would recommend that you do one of two things. Either from our exploration in class, you cut out one of the circles from that exploration and tape it into your notebook, or if you don't have a section of that paper that will work for you, you can go ahead and sketch this drawing into your notebook. Okay, Circle Theorem 1 says that any angle inscribed in a semicircle is a 90-degree angle. And there are a couple of things I want you to think about for this. Let's go ahead and highlight the diameter of this circle. So we can only use this theorem when we have a diameter. And so I would like you to draw yourself a thought bubble here. To remind yourself that we must have a diameter in order to use this theorem. Okay, and let's look at 2 examples here. So example 1, we have measure of angle A is 63 degrees, and they are asking us to find angle B. Well, we know that AB is a diameter, so that tells us that angle C has to be a 90-degree angle. And we know that this is a triangle, so angle A plus angle C plus angle B have to be 180 degrees. So we can then subtract 180 minus 90 minus the 63, and that will tell us that angle B equals, let's go ahead and do that subtraction. $27 degrees. Okay. So let's do a second example here. We want to find the measure of angle X, and this is angle X here. That's the angle we are looking for. Again, the first thing to notice is that AC is a diameter. So I can break this into 2 different parts. I know that since AC is a diameter, that angle B, this whole angle here, is 90 degrees. I can figure out this right half of the angle by using our triangle angle sum theorem. So subtracting from 180, I can subtract 84 and 48 degrees and figure out what that equals. So that tells us that this other angle is also 48 degrees. So since I know that X and 48 together equal 90, we can take 90 minus 48, and that will give us our measure of angle X. So we know that angle X equals 42 degrees. Okay. All right, let's go on to circle theorem number 2 on page 44. And circle theorem number 2 tells us that a central angle is twice the measure of the inscribed angle on the same arc. And the first thing I want to focus on is this on the same arc. So noticing that both, my tape got in the way a little bit there. So that's a little bit messy, but you can still see that's the arc we're looking at. So both of these angles, the central angle and the inscribed angle, have endpoints at the same place on the circle. So this arc is the same for both of those angles. So if we know what angle x is, then we can multiply by 2 to get the central angle. Or if we know the central angle, then we can divide by 2 to get the inscribed angle. All right, so we've got two examples. Example number 1, we are given the inscribed angle is 38, and we want to find the measure of the central angle, angle O. So we know that the central angle has to be 2 times the inscribed angle, so we need to multiply 38 times 2, and that will give us that central angle is going to be 76 degrees. Okay. All right, let's look at our second example. In this example, we're actually being asked to solve for x. So first, we notice, and I didn't highlight it up here, but let's go ahead and highlight up here that both of those angles were on the same arc. And let's do the same thing on this second example. So we recognize that both of these angles have endpoints on the same arc. So then we know that if this central angle is 110 degrees, then we can divide by 2 to get our inscribed angle. So that'll be our first step, is to take 110 divided by 2, and that will give us 55 degrees. So we know that this inscribed angle is 55 degrees. Let's go ahead and highlight that yellow. So that 55 is the same as that angle, but they are already telling us that angle is 2x plus 7. So I know that 2x plus 7, that angle must equal 55. So I can then solve that equation and figure out what x equals. Oh, let's see, subtracting, that's going to give us 48. And dividing by 2, we have x equals 24 degrees.